Michael Lorenzo here with One Mic, One Game. I want to welcome you and thank you for joining me at the table here for a solo playthrough of Ausonia. This will be a sort of playthrough as well as teaching of the game. I'll be doing that as we go through the game, explaining the rules as we go along. I won't be saying them all up front, but I will give a quick overview before we start. Also, all the rules will be broken up into chapters if you look down in the description. I prefer to do it that way in case you ever have any questions about a specific rule. You can just go down there, select the timestamp, and it will jump right to that rule. In my previous video, I did a setup for the game. I won't be going through that here. I'm just gonna show you real quick that we have our offer row set up, which is 4 cards regardless of the number of players, including solo. We have our favor deck, we have our power deck, and I have my starter deck. And I am going to reveal the Aspirant, which will be the opponent NPC that I'll be playing against. And there we are, we have the snake. So just on the front here, again, we're going to go over this real quick. The snake picture, title, and on the back, which is what's going to stay up most of the game, are the abilities that he triggers, as well as what happens with the cards that he keeps. We'll go over that when we get to the Aspirant's turn. Like I said, I'll be explaining the rules as we go through the game. You, the player, will start with your starting deck, which is a total of 12 cards. You're going to shuffle your deck. You're going to deal yourself 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I will keep my deck over there. And I'm going to play open-handed just to make it easier here for the camera so you can see everything that I'm doing. During your turn, the action phase, there's a number of actions that you can take. You can use your gems to play favor cards from your hand. In this case, I could spend a blue gem to play Oath, and that would give me 3 influence, which means it would increase my influence counter here by 3. That's one action you can do. Another action you can do is you can pay for cards up in the offer row. You're paying the cost in the top left corner. When you purchase a card from the offer row, you're going to bring it down and you're going to flip it over. You do not put it in your discard pile. In a solo game, any card that you buy, you're going to shift the rest of the cards down to the left and your new card comes out to the rightmost card. There are 3 more actions you can take in the game. Break a seal, you can create a source, and you can pass. The first 2 I'll explain while we play the game when they occur. Pass is when you cannot or you choose not to take any more actions during your turn. At that point, the end turn phase begins. The end turn phase consists of 3 steps, and they must be done in this order. The first thing you do is you take all the cards that you put in your play area and you move them to your discard pile. I'm simulating as if I played these cards here. So these cards, I'm choosing not to take any more actions. So these cards technically would still be in my hand. At that point, I can choose to keep or discard any number of cards from my hand to save for the next round. Let's say that I was trying to get the second green for this raise. I could discard the blue and red card, hold on to these in my hand, and then the final part is dealing up to your hand size limit, which is 6 cards from your draw pile. So play will go back and forth between myself and the Aspirant until one of us reaches 60 influence points. Once 60 influence points is reached, 60 or more, the round is finished out, and whoever ends with the most influence will be the winner. So with that being said, I think we have enough information for the first part of the round to start, which would be my turn. Just to start the game here, I'm going to spend 1 blue on the Oath card, which will give me 3 influence. I also have a green, a blue, and a red. I will spend a green on Exhaustion which comes down and flips over. All the cards slide over. Okay, I think I'm going to spend the blue and the red on alchemy and purchase that card. So a new card will come out, and I will choose to hold on to raise and bring that out here to the side. When you purchase cards from the offer row, you cannot use them on this turn. And again, you flip them upside down in the play area and they go to your discard pile. I will deal myself 5 more cards. 1, 2. So now I'll explain the steps for playing the Aspirant. The first step for the Aspirant is always to take the leftmost card in the offer row. All cards slide to the left and a new card is brought out. At this point, you're going to look at the cost of the card, and the number of gems as well as the color will activate the abilities on the Aspirant's card. There is just a single blue gem, and the snake here will cause me to discard 1 card. If there was a green gem in the cost of the card, he would gain 3 influence per gem. So in this card up here, he would actually gain 6 due to the 2 green gems. If there is a red gem, it would cause 3 corruption. Now, corruption is an ability that targets an opponent and takes that many influence away from them. Also, when the end game is triggered, when somebody has reached 60 influence points, from that point on till the end of the round, all corruption that comes out actually goes toward influence points. It does not take it away. And that's with the person that played it. So if the snake played a card with corruption and I had already received 60 influence points or achieved that, those 3 corruption would actually go toward his influence, not take away from mine. The second stage is to determine whether or not the Aspirant keeps the card. In this case, cards with 3 different gems and their cost will allow the snake to keep the card. This only has 1 type of gem. If the Aspirant doesn't keep the card, it goes into his discard pile. If the card happened to be speech, where there are 3 different types of gems, it would actually go into his hand. And that would be the end of the turn for the Aspirant in this case. Let's say that this is the Aspirant's setup. I've taken my turn, and now it's the Aspirant's turn. I'm not going to bring out more cards here. The third part would be, in this case, since he has a hand, this card has a blue gem. This would still cause me to discard 1 card from my hand, but now, for each card in his hand, he's going to gain 2 influence. If there happened to be 3 cards in his hand, he would gain 6 influence for every blue gem that was in the card that came down. Also in solo play, there is a change for the ability of discard for the person that's playing against the Aspirant. If you play a card with the ability of discard, what you would do is you would take the hand of the Aspirant and you would randomly take a card out and put it into his discard pile. Now, every Aspirant's way of keeping cards and their abilities is different. There's 8 Aspirants in the game, but this happens to be the case for the snake. So getting back to the game, I think we've learned enough to get us going here for a couple of rounds, possibly. So the snake has pulled down secrecy. We've moved the cards over. We've brought out a new one. I only need to discard 1 card. That's an easy choice for me. Since this is I need a red to activate this one, I won't be able to use that. So that is a simple discard for me. This card only has 1 type of gem instead of 3. This will go to his discard pile. So that's the end of round 1, and now it's my turn. Since I had the discard, I only have 5 cards left in my hand, but I already know what I'm going to play here. So I'm going to play 2 green gems, and I will activate Raise. Now to explain Raise, this has a Raise 1, and there are numbers next to some of the abilities. In this particular case, it's 1. Now Raise allows you to take a card from your hand or a card from your discard pile and put it off to the side upside down. Once you choose and you have enough cards in your raise pile, you can create what they call sources. Now what a source is, it requires 2 cards from the raise pile, and again, you can keep adding cards until you're ready to create a source. But a source card requires what they call a foundation card, which is a card turned over. It can be any card. It doesn't necessarily have to be a gem card or one with the star at the top. The card that goes on top, which will be the source, does require a star. And what this does is it comes out in front of the player and it will stay here for the entire game. And this acts as a gem that is in your hand. So you can build up sources to allow you to gain more purchase power as the game goes on. It also helps you mitigate lesser cards or starter cards that you may not want coming up in your draw pile. You can use those as the foundation. So again, in this case, this was my hand here, and I played raise 1, and I am actually going to play a card from my hand. Blue is the most predominant colored gem in the game, so I feel okay with using that in the raise pile. I'm not going to do anything else this round, and I think I'm going to keep the blue card, so I'll discard all of these. So there's only 1 card in my draw pile. If you run out of cards in your draw pile, you do take your discard pile and you shuffle and replenish your draw pile and deal up to your hand size limit. During solo games, there is another ability that is called Burn, and this is only in solo games. And it may come up from one of the aspirants. The snake doesn't have that ability, but what Burn means is whatever the number is after it, you are going to discard that many cards from your draw pile into your discard pile. But the catch is, so let's say that you only had 3 cards left in your draw pile and a burn 5 came up. Well, you would discard the 3, and since you don't have the 2 remaining, those actually become corruption and take points away from your influence. So let's shuffle these cards up, and oh, interesting, okay. So now it's the aspirant's turn. The aspirant's going to pull down speech, and he's going to make me discard a card. He's going to gain 6 influence, which I'll just give him right now. And he's going to take 3 influence away from me, so I will go back down to 10. And then I still need to discard a card. Okay, so I think I'm going to discard the red card, or the red gem. And that finishes, well, actually it doesn't finish his turn because there's 3 different types of gems. This will go into his hand. You can see what the aspirant's turn is going to, you can see what's going to happen on his next turn. So you can try to prepare as best as you can to what we like to call hate draft and purchase cards away from him to lower his abilities per turn. Okay, so it's my turn here, and I am definitely going to play a blue card and gain influence 3, so that'll bring me up to 13. And I'm going to play a green for this, discard 1, so this will get rid of his 1 card that he had in his hand, and will also give me an influence of 2, bumping me up to 15. And I think I'm going to hold on to the green card. Yes, I'll hold on to the green card and discard these. Ah, that's what I was hoping to see. Okay, so it's the aspirant's turn. He's going to pull down Extraction. And he's going to cause me to discard a card, and I'm going to get 6 influence taken away from me, so that bumps me down to 9 from 15. Lovely. And let me see, which card am I going to discard? I can't use this draw, so I might as well discard that. And this goes over here to his discard pile. Okay, so I have my raise card. I am definitely going to use that. And again, raise, you can pull from your hand or from your discard pile. And because red gems are the most rare, you only start with 2 in the game. I'm going to pull that from my discard pile and put it into my raise pile. Now, you can keep it in your raise pile and you can keep building up cards if you want, but in this case, I'm going to actually create the source immediately. Now, the other thing that I didn't mention when creating sources is when you bring a source out, I can use it on this turn if I choose to do so. I need to be careful when this one comes out, and he's going to make me discard 3. I will keep 1 blue card, and I will discard this other one and clean my play area out. Let's see what we have here. I need to shuffle my cards. Okay, the Aspirant's turn. He gets opportunities, so he's going to make me discard 3 cards, and he's going to get 3 influence. So let's give him the influence right now. He's at 19 to my 9, and I need to discard 3. I think I'm going to purchase that well to prevent him from getting a card in his hand. Okay, I'm just going to discard these 3 here. That doesn't help me with what I wanted to do. Okay, this goes to the discard pile. So I'm going to spend a red, a blue, and a green. I'm gonna take wealth off his hand, so that's purchased. These will slide down. All right, so at the end of my turn, I'm going to keep the red gem, and these get discarded. Aspirant's turn. This is contacts, 2 green and 2 red, unreal. Okay, so he's gonna get 6 more influence. That brings him up to 25. And he's gonna give me 6 corruption, so that bumps me down to 3. Very nice, thank you, Snake. All right, my turn. Let's see, I've got 2 of everything here. I'm hoping maybe that discard card will come up later, so I'm going to risk it for the biscuit. And, yeah, I'm gonna spend the 2 green. I'm gonna buy the power card up here. So discoveries is 2 red, 2 blue. And that would give me 7 influence if I could activate that ability. So let's flip that over. Those are spent. A new card comes out. Plans, okay. And I'm gonna discard raise. I'm not gonna hold on to that card. So let's clean up the play area here. Got 1 card left, and I need to shuffle. Lots of ability cards or favor cards and not too much purchase power. Okay, Experiment comes down for our good friend here. Unfortunately, it's 1 of each, so he's gonna cause me to discard a card. I won't be able to use influence, so that's an easy choice. He's going to gain 3, brings him up to 28. I'm gonna lose 3, so I am down to 0. You cannot get below 0 in this game. There's no negative points. And the game continues even when you hit 0. So there was 1 of each. He's gonna keep that card for the next round. Oh man, and then there's gonna be 2 cards with 2 blues.